You've probably already filled many notebooks, highlighted several PDFs, bought some random YouTube educators complete notes which they claim would be enough for you to crack UGC NET English and you would not need any, book to study. Absolutely dishonest claim, but whatever. Yet you forget in the exam hall. I appreciate how hard you're working on this, but probably this is about smart work. And I am going to talk all about it in this particular video. Let's first define the thing that we are trying to critique and analyze. Notes. What are they? Most people would honestly answer writing down important key points. While that is kind of true, we need to make an important distinction. Transcription is not note making. Copying is not comprehension. A lot of times when students are taking notes while watching a lecture or reading a book, they are postponing the intellectual work of engaging with that book or that lecture. They are saying to themselves, well, let me write down the key points and I will revisit later. Right now, let me not think a lot about it. Let me just quickly go through this book. Let me just quickly go through this lecture in 3x, 2x, 4x, whatever. So then, Dhananjay, what exactly is note taking? Well, note taking is firstly processing the ideas and concepts that you learn in your brain and then compressing them in a form which you understand, so that when you revisit that compression, those notes, those ideas come back to you and you do not forget. So the purpose of note taking, and this is important, the purpose of note taking is to not forget, to remember, to recall things after it's been 3 or 4 months since you studied them. When it comes to making notes for UGC NET English, it becomes even more problematic because the syllabus is so vast. There is history of English literature, there is British literature, there is American literature, Australian literature, world literature, Indian literature, then there's literary theory, literary criticism, linguistics, you get it, right? There is centuries of material, and if you sit down to take note of every unit, you'll be transcribing and copying facts and key points for months, and there will be no time for you to retain anything. And that is the sad part, because you are working hard and you are also getting this illusion of progress that you are learning new things. Because as it turns out, to choose the right one from 4 options, note making is not the skill that is going to help you with that. Exam is not testing your note making skills. It is testing how you can recall the correct option when you have 4 options. Now let's talk about these UGC NET educators who are selling you their notes. We have already established that notes are made by you once you have processed that information. However impractical it might be for UGC NET, that is how notes are made. You process the information first in your own brain and then you make a compressed version of that, a distilled version of that. So taking notes from somebody else, using somebody else's notes does not make sense. You can't have somebody else process that information in their brains and then take their notes, buy their notes for money. That is not how notes work. That was point number 1. Point number 2, as I said, notes cannot be your primary material to study. Notes will always be secondary distilled material for you to study. Think of this like you would think of Plato's theory of forms and how poet is removed from reality. The ultimate ideal knowledge of English literature would be the ultimate reality. And these scholars who have spent their lives studying English literature, people like Peter Berry, Paul Fry, William J. Long, Pramod K. Nair, Bhim Singh Daiya, these will be closest approximation to reality. They would be once removed from reality. And then when you are reading notes, when you are making the notes from these sources, those notes will be twice removed from reality. But then, if you are reading somebody else's notes, you are already reading something which is twice removed from reality, and then you are making even more distilled notes out of that. So you are thrice removed from reality. I hope you are getting my point, right? So you keep on distilling knowledge like that. You should not be doing that. You should be closest to the truth. You should be approximating the truth as precisely as you can. And that would be done by reading actual books and not the notes of these educators, with all due respect to them. I promise you, if I want, I can right now, using some competent high quality AI, create a whole book and sell it as notes. So it is not very difficult. But the knowledge that you will get in the actual books, that is unmatchable. Now I have told you the problem. Let me quickly give you solution. The solution is, number 1, reduce note making as much as possible. Number 2, substitute it with MCQs, with solving questions, with testing yourself more often. And think about it for a moment. This is more nuanced than you think it is. So when we think of testing, we only think of assessment, assessing knowledge base, formative assessments, summative assessments and whatnot. We never think of it as a studying exercise. And that is where we need to change our perspective. In 2006, Roediger and Karpicke did a fantastic experiment that proves my point. So they made two groups of students and they made them study in two different ways. The first group studied the course material for the first time. In the second iteration, they again studied the course material. In the third iteration, they again studied the course material. And in the fourth iteration, they again studied the course material. So study. 4 times they studied the same material. And the second group of students, for the first iteration, they studied the material. For the second iteration, they gave a test of that material. Third iteration gave another test of that material. Fourth iteration gave another test of that material. After that, both groups of students were given similar tests. One test was given 5 minutes later, the second test was given a few days later, and the third test was given a few weeks later. So 5-minute later test, students who studied for 4 times were able to do slightly better. But after a few days, what turned out that the students who had studied the material once and given 3 tests were dramatically better than the students who studied it 4 times. I will attach the link to the paper in the description and you can go read that paper for yourself. This is the conclusion, that if you study something several times, your likelihood of recalling is lesser than if you study it once and give more tests regarding it. And that is my alternative. Take more tests, solve MCQs, solve PYQs, read a chapter from a book, and then use some random AI to generate questions from that particular chapter and then solve it. That is how you recall the best. You can do it by yourself or you can get our programs. Let me quickly show this to you on our website. So when you go to literaryodyssey.com, this is the interface that you will come across. You scroll down, you will find different courses that we offer. You go to the MCQ Warrior program, although you can find these MCQs in the JRF Scholar and the Ultimate Revision course. But let's go with MCQ Warrior for now. I already have the access to the program, so this will open for me. You will of course have to purchase it first after logging in the website. Let's say you are studying Rutledge. Once you've studied Rutledge, let's say you have read till Renaissance up to Shakespeare. So you will click on this quiz and you have 25 questions. You start the quiz and you get a complete quiz. You can just solve a question. This is correct. Go to next. Solve another. Oh wow, okay, correct. Keep solving, keep learning, keep revising, and that is the best way of revising. And it's not only available for Rutledge, it is available for William J. Long. We have British literature summaries, major writers of British literature, literary theory, a guide for the perplexed questions, M.K. Naik's questions, cultural studies questions, literary theory by David Carter, linguistics, E. Adhyayan lectures. We also have flashcards and much more. These questions are being provided to you in the CBT format, in the format that you encounter in the exam hall itself. So firstly, it is doing exactly what notes would have been doing for you, but it's a quicker and more efficient way. Secondly, it is taking less time. Thirdly, it is also acclimatizing you to the UGC NET CBT format. So when you will sit in the exam hall, you will exactly know how to deal with those questions, how to deal with that interface that is in front of your screen, because these questions will be in CBT format. So notes are shadows of English literature. Do not deal with shadows. Do not spend your year dealing with shadows. Rather meet the subject face to face. Deal with questions. Find alternatives. Find new age alternatives. The world is evolving. You too evolve. A lot of students also make notes to remember a lot of factual details in English literature. When was a certain work published, chronology related things, who wrote a certain work, minor works of major authors, what did a critic say about a certain author, and much more. To do that as well, notes again are not very efficient. We have a much more efficient alternative, which are flashcards. And the Literary Odyssey is the first in the UGC NET English space to introduce the concept of flashcards. What flashcards are, you can see in the above video. But if you want to quickly remember certain facts, flashcards are the best. And you get a lot of flashcards on our website as well. If you like the video, comment down below what you think about what we said in this video, subscribe to the Literary Odyssey, and if you're preparing for UGC NET, do consider our programs on theliteraryodyssey.com. Use code HAMLET for 20% discount. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.